Hey everybody, this is Tom Sorsey with a 4th of July edition of a ball motion analysis video for you. Today we are looking at the Roto Grip Nuclear Cell. Let's just get right after it. So Nuclear Cell had the E-Trax P20 Pearl cover stock. So I kind of want to go into this a little bit. I'm not of the sciencey type to know a lot of what the internal differences are when they make new cover stocks. I know that they have variations of things as they go on through time, and I will say that they had these micro tracks cover stocks, and that was on like the original Halo, and that was on the Idol, and that was on the UFO, and those are all balls that I really like. And then they had these E-Trax cover stocks, and they were on the Halo Pearl and the Idol Pro, and those were two balls that I had very little success with on a personal level. I know people that really like both of those a lot. I just didn't get a lot of use out of them. So I didn't even know at first that that was the cover that we were working with. So I'm interested to see what differences we find as we go forward. The core, the nucleus core, the same one you remember from all of the cell balls going back forever. I didn't have a lot of experience with any of the cells before I was on staff with Storm and Roto Grip, and the first one that I had was the Hypercell Skid, which I had some relative success with, but not as much as a lot of my friends that I bowl a lot of tournaments with. And then there was the Hypercell Fused, which was really strong, and I thought I was going to have a need for it, but it was something that I could almost never make look right. And I don't know if that's just a combination of like my personal physical game and the choices that I like to make or something different. And I can only assume that that's the case because there's a lot of people that like those balls. So coming into this one, I had some concerns that I wasn't going to see what I liked just because I haven't been able to make it work yet. And I don't want to spoil anything quite yet, but I was very surprised at what I saw. So let's take a look at some numbers. RG252, differential 056. This is mine, 60 by 5.5 by 35. Really, the big thing here is I tried to go with a pin that was a little weaker because I've had problems in the past with these cell cores being too strong, using up too early, and not being able to have a lot of success with them. So I wanted to try to go weaker with that, go a little bit quicker as well with the layout, and kind of see what happens. So let's take a look at it. Right away, I couldn't really believe what I'd seen. So first it was strong, like I knew it was going to be because all of these cells are. But I couldn't believe the quickness of it. So the cells that I've thrown in the past, especially the Pearl versions, they've been very strong, but I also couldn't use them as a quick response ball. They really wanted to be reading early. They really wanted to be smooth. And even like that one there, I got way to the right. We still came back perfect strike. And I was able to basically just keep moving left, keep opening up my angles. And even here, I split just because I get one in a little bit and it sees that friction, it makes that turn. And I just chased it in a little bit here and there, and then I made a big jump just to see if it would still hold that quickness because a lot of times with these stronger balls, even the ones that are on the quicker end of the spectrum, once you really start to open up those angles, you get really deep, they don't hold that quickness. But here I went way in, sent it way to the right, same thing. Quick response when it sees the friction, still makes it back, still retains energy, still looks really good, which I have to say was really surprising to me. And so the ball that I chose to throw it against is the Halo Pearl. Now, when I picked that ball, I didn't apparently do the math and realize that they were different versions of the same cover stock. And now that I know that, I'm actually really surprised because you'll see right here that one of the things that I noticed about my Halo Pearl was that it always felt like it was too weak. I couldn't get it to read. It was just hydroplaning. It would get too far down the lane. And then surprisingly, it wasn't as quick as I had hoped it would be. When it saw the friction, it liked to make a much smoother motion than I had expected from it. And I was really looking for when I had this ball to be able to compare to the original Halo. And you can see here, really kind of squirting through the front a little bit. When it does make that move, it's a much smoother, much slower motion. It doesn't see that dry and really want to react over. And so, had I known all of that ahead of time, I would be even more surprised than I am right now at the performance that I'm seeing from this nuclear cell. And when I try to go with the big jump left here, you see no chance. Like that had no chance at all. Didn't want to read, still had that smooth motion. So I have to say, I'm really excited for it. It's a shape that we don't get to see very often. It's something that is going to be different, but I feel like also usable. So a lot of times when we have a ball that tends to react and look differently than a lot of stuff in our bag, that's a useful tool, right? You need to be able to have something when you're in an environment where things aren't expected and that maybe you happen to have the niche ball that you can pull out and use that nobody else would even think to use. And those are really good things to have, but the problem is that they also aren't things that you get to use very often. And eventually, if you don't use it enough at all, you just get rid of it. And, with any bowling ball manufacturer, there's going to be those ones that there are people that really like that ball and get a ton of use out of them, and then you're not. And then there's going to be balls that you get a ton of use out of, and other people don't. And it's being able to find something that is unique, one, and two, usable often, that's important. And for this ball, we have something that is on the quick response spectrum that we can use with open angles, but also one that is very strong. And I don't mean that in a friction created way because we're still dealing with a pearl cover stock. We're still dealing with something that is clean, right? And a lot of that is the core. And there's finally, it feels to me, a core cover combination in one of these balls that works for me. Something that is clean enough that it's not combining a higher creation of friction with that big core inside. And then all of a sudden you have a ball that is used up that you can't use for big open angles, that you can't use later in blocks. And now, when we have an environment where we need something quicker response, when we're just not getting that quickness that we need, but we're still in an environment with not a lot of friction that the lane's giving us, now we have an option to be able to go to that I'm really excited for. I mean, the big thing is with quick response balls, almost always they are weaker balls. And, generally speaking, that tends to work out for the most part, but there are environments where you need something quicker, but there may not be something strong enough. And like, this is it. And what really excites me about it is that even when I went way left and way opened up my angles, I was like, this is going to week 10. Like, this has no chance. And it still looked awesome. So I feel like it actually may be more usable even in those lower friction environments. You're just going to have to be having more open angles, use more of the lane if that's there for you to take advantage of. So, aside from me drooling, because, that's what I'm doing apparently, and this is something that was completely unexpected, let's break it down real quick. I'm going to put it in medium friction created. And that may be confusing to some people because we know how much it hooks, right? At least in the video that I'm showing you. But I think that a lot of the strength of this ball comes from that core. It's not from the actual cover stock creating friction through oil. I think that when you have an environment of a lot of oil, you're going to be able to still get it to be clean, but that strength of the core is what's going to really make it want to turn over and start to read. When it comes to response time, I'm going to put it on quick. And I was thinking it might be like medium to medium quick before I even threw it. And I was surprised to say that I think that this could very well be used as one of your quickest options, at least in the limited time that I've thrown it. Obviously, in the environment right now, not a whole lot of bowling going on, especially in New York State. So I only really got to have a crack at this for a short amount of time. And that may change. I may feel like you don't want to use it all the way on the quick side, and you might want to use it more on the medium quick side, or even in some environments, medium. But right now, I'm going to say quick because that's what I saw, at least in this moment that I used it. And like I always say, like, that is subject to change, especially as we get more oil soaked into the ball as well. So, as usual, got to thank all the sponsors, all the people that helped me get here. Storm and Roto Grip, best balls on the planet. Can't say that enough. Very fortunate to be able to be part of this team. Bowl U, lots of great stuff going on there. Check out the website, bowlu.com. Brad Angelo Lanes up in Lockport, New York. Just did an expansion. They have an outdoor patio, volleyball, stuff like that. It's really great. If you're somewhat local to the area listening to these, I would say go check it out. Tim Friends, friendsphotography.com, doing the video, doing the pictures for me, and Jim DeWitt, soundcloud.com/Jim DeWitt with the audio as usual. We're going to have the Axiom coming up soon. That's the next one on board for it. And hopefully we'll have that through in a week or two at most. And hope you guys are enjoying these. I'm really glad to be doing them again and be back. So any questions, comments, throw them in the YouTube there. Find me on Facebook. I'm always willing to talk to people when I have time. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks.